I'm still trying to delay doing the intro.
Well, I think this is going to be the best one. And I want you to know that it's not to trip you up or psych you out. You're going to do the best damn intro you've ever done, you've ever seen or heard if you're not watching on YouTube. It's going to be dope. We don't even put the pre-show on the opening part on audio podcast, so no one's going to hear me psych you up like this, but
they're going to watch it. Man.
You psyched?
I'm psyched up.
All right, this is going to be the most psychinest version of the opener ever. So I'm going to take, because you look too psyched to do it, so I'm going to say we're going to put the logo right here.
Welcome to the ABINGERS podcast, where we assemble weekly to binge all things nerd, old and new. You can find us anywhere at ABINGERS podcast. That's ABINGERS. A free way to support the show is to give us a 5-star rating on your podcast platform of choice. It goes a long way, getting eyes and ears on the show. You can also go to patreon.com/ABINGERS podcast. Pay us $1 a month, and we've got a whole back catalog of super secret episodes that have never been released to the general public. We also have wonderful threads that you can join whenever we get on Twitch. We read your thoughts out on the podcast. We've got a wonderful community in Discord that you are also going to be joining. It's almost there. But
great.
I'm just one of your hosts. Keith, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Emmy. How are you doing? The Dayquil has kicked in, so I'm great. How are you?
I feel psyched.
Yes, you're psyched. I can tell that was the best opener you've done. Sure, you tripped up a bit when you said that people might be joining Discord, or they might join or whatever, but it's true though. They're going to be joining. Yeah, do the Patreon thing, man. Join the podcast community. It's dope.
It is dope. We share pictures and memes and laughs. You can join our new Fairy Smut book club.
I did see that the other night. Yeah. Proud of you all. Proud of all you who are joining, and excited to read vicariously through you all.
Yeah. It's been a little quiet because I have been slow to read, but
well, you're only on chapter 3. The smut happens. We all know the smut happens on chapter 7. You're
5.
on chapter 5. Oh yeah. Well, you're nearly there.
Yeah, I'm so close to the smut I can taste it. All right. Oh, before I forget, we are reviewing season 1, episode 6 of X-Men 97. So, if you have not watched this episode, go back and watch it. Spoiler alert ahead. This is a spoiler-filled review. So, if you don't want it spoiled, don't listen to the rest of this episode until you watch it. The title of the episode is Lifedeath Part 2.
Hell yeah.
So, Keith, I think you went first last week, if I remember correctly. So
sure I did. I think you should go first this week.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go first this week.
What'd you think of the episode, Emmy?
This is pretty good. That was my first thought after this episode. I might be into this.
Okay. I was a little I don't know, not hesitant, but I was kind of preparing myself for you to not enjoy this one as much, just because of how fucking many characters they introduce.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. I was lost during tons of it. Parts of it were just absolutely unhinged. Yeah. No, totally. But I'm sure through talking about it, I'll get some answers. And
fair enough.
I think part of the reason why I loved it so much was that I really loved the teacher bits. The teacher bits were my favorite. I really felt seen there. I know that shocks everyone.
Remind me, what do you do for a living?
Oh, I am a circus animal trainer
Yeah?
and
Which
a
one's the most dangerous?
cat herder. The middle schooler. They
In the
are the most
wild.
dangerous. But yeah, so I felt seen there. I The one thing that I didn't like for this episode was how it unravels the things that we praised Storm for in Life Death Part 1,
Mhm,
especially being her relationship with Forge after she smacked him last week or
mhm.
2 weeks ago, and then she's like, "My love." What? Okay. Questions. Um, but yeah, like I said, I had no clue what was happening on Shi'ar, Shar,
The
Shar.
Shi'ar Empire.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That is probably the most common. Like, they interact with a lot of aliens, but I'd say that's probably the most common aliens, or the main ones that I think the X-Men are involved with, primarily because of Professor X's relationship. Yeah.
With okay.
Yeah.
I like seeing Charles back.
Lalandra.
Lalandra.
Yeah.
Didn't catch
Right?
her name. I thought her name was Shi'ar. Shi'ar? I'm gonna say that word wrong every and I'm gonna have to say it a couple times. Shi'ar.
Shi'ar. Shi'ar.
I'm the
I'm fine
pirate
with
this
that.
episode. Shi'ar.
Shi'ar. Mighty Empire.
Yeah, I thought that was her name, but it's not. I did get there. But yeah, I loved seeing Charles back. I wasn't completely 100% for sure we were gonna get him back in this series.
Mhm.
I think I had seen some speculation that maybe he wasn't going to come back until like season 2 or 3, but
Oh,
I'm glad
wow.
to see
Yeah.
him. So, what did you think, Keith?
Oh, man. Like, okay, so at first I didn't think I was gonna like it because I knew, like, we get instantly into the Shi'ar Empire stuff before there's any death stuff.
Yeah.
And what did I say?
No, you said the word and I had to say it after you.
Shi'ar.
And I was trying to make it
Shi'ar.
inaudible.
Um, the I was afraid that it was going to undersell the conclusion to the life death story, because one of the things I didn't like about that episode 4 was the fact that life death was such an afterthought, or it felt like a start to something, but obviously not the full weight of the episode and what was going to happen next. So I was a little nervous, but at the same time, one thing I cannot stop praising about this show is the pacing. They pack so fucking much into one episode that
Hmm.
this was crazy, and it gave you exposition to a point because they had to if you hadn't seen the original series. But at the same time, they just did really great storytelling. You figured out that this person's in charge and that person's the sister and this person's in, like, there's the way that they work. It's all explained through story instead of just telling you for telling you's sake, and that's my least favorite kind of exposition. So when it's brought together well and done well, I'm impressed. um but yeah, they told it succinctly. They told 2 stories in one episode. And what else did I write about my opening thoughts? That was pretty much it. Okay, but
Yeah.
okay. Also, they gave context cues, blah blah blah. All in all, I'm just excited to talk about the episode and see that they set a high bar last week, and I wasn't expecting them to meet that this week. I was
Hmm.
expecting, like, maybe, okay, that would be a height, and then we're back down to like a lull, and then the finale will be good again, or finale will be the best. Which I still am hoping, because it should always crescendo. um but yeah, this was a damn good episode too, so I'm thinking, like, they're knocking it out of the park still. This is probably in my top 3 that we've seen. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Fun fact: do you want to hear something cool about Charles being back?
Yes, of course. I almost said
So
no again.
the voice actor for Charles in this episode, and throughout the series, is being done by a different actor. The original was Cedric Smith, and he's about 80 now. And there's not been any leaked reason or shared reason why he's not coming back. It could be just age. But um the new voice actor is Ross Marquand, and Ross Marquand he's played Aaron in The Walking Dead. I think that he is a dead ringer for Brandon the Abinger. They look so much alike to me. It's funny, and he also played Red Skull in Infinity War and Endgame when Hugo Weaving didn't want to return to the role. He stepped in because he does a really good Red Skull impression. He's an impersonator. He just does voices really, really, really well. And he's got lots of Vanity Fair nano impression videos on YouTube that are really funny. He's done a bunch of talk shows that are really funny, but he is voicing Charles Xavier now. And the guy, Cedric Smith, who originally voiced him, used to voice Red Skull as well, which I just thought was funny that they must have similar sounding voices because the same kind of guy can do both. And it just was both in both projects. So anyways, that's
That's really
fact.
interesting. And I also did just
you just looked him up.
Picture.
Doesn't he look a lot like Brandon?
Uncanny.
It's freaky. Yeah.
It is.
I tell
freaky.
Brandon all the time, I'm like, you look like the dude from Walking Dead. And he's like, what are you talking about? I don't think he's ever really agreed. I don't know. But look him up. His name's Aaron. He has a mace for a hand because he loses his hand in season 6 or something. Spoilers for Walking Dead fans. Nice. But he is an awesome character. He gets a big long beard. He has curly hair. Brandon doesn't have curly hair, but
that picture specifically, I was swiping through some of them, and it's not.
You found a more Brandon looking picture than I've ever seen of him. Actually, that's really close. That's freaky.
More Brandon than Brandon. Now we know what Brandon's doing. Look at.
Yeah. There's some expressions
amazing.
that are like, that's how Brandon would pose and stuff. That's funny. 100%. And this is coming from obviously people who know Brandon very well. I stare at that guy's face all the time because I've drawn him 5 times now, and I cannot not see Brandon when I watch those seasons of Walking Dead. It's weird.
That looks like a picture of Brandon meeting Ian McGregor, or is it Ewan McGregor?
Ewan, yeah.
Oh.
I thought you were showing me a picture of Brandon meeting Ross Marquand, and I was about to cry a little.
No, he's wearing a picture of. Wait, no, who does? Don't remember who he played with Star Wars. Never mind. I don't know dick about shit about
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Well, I think that was Obi-Wan Kenobi that was on his shirt.
Oh, that makes sense.
I refuse to pull it back up because if somebody tells me that it's not, I'll be crushed.
No worries. But yeah, you and me both. I get it. But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting tidbit that it's now Ross Marquand doing the voice of Professor Xavier. And he's kicking ass. He sounded great.
Okay, I think that I have a disconnect in my head because in my head, the voice that should be Charles Xavier is either Sir Patrick Stewart or the guy who says Charles. But I know that's Ian not McKellen.
Charles.
Oh. Well, does he not do it in the animated series a little bit too? I guess
the animated series Magneto. Are you just prompting my Magneto impressions because you heard me do them earlier and I'm sick today and you knew that I was excited?
Quite possibly, but no. Magneto. Also, I know that
Charles Xavier.
Charles isn't the person who's saying his own name, so it's stupid for me to think that.
Wouldn't that be crazy? One of the smartest telepaths in the world, and he speaks in the third person. He's just Charles isn't happy. Charles would like the raspberry juice.
Gambit's not happy.
Gambit
would think that Charles is stealing Gambit's thing.
Gambit don't like that Charles doing it too. Not a fan. That's Gambit's thing. Now Gambit dead. Maybe he's trying to honor Gambit. Oh. Too soon.
All right. Do you want to guess some Rotten Tomatoes, some IMDb, and some Google users?
I do.
Or just critics for Rotten Tomatoes?
My guess, I'm gonna try and guess both. Okay. I want to guess that they both went up. I cannot remember if you said that last week it was 97 and 92.
98 and 93.
98 and 93. So close. Okay, I'm going to guess that it went back up to 99 after the success of last week's episode. And then audiences, I'm going to say it went to 94 as well.
Okay.
So just up one each.
They both stayed the same at 98 and
You know what?
93.
That's good too.
That's, yeah, honest. It's not going down. IMDb, that bitch went up 1/10 of a point from
Nice.
8.9 back up to 9.0, which is what it was the first 3 episodes, I think. Maybe 2
Yeah.
episodes that we reviewed. And Google users stayed the same at 90%. So this has been a pretty even keel. Like this is I think, I knock on wood, the steadiest we've seen ratings stay throughout
Yeah. Hell
the
yeah.
life of a series. Yeah.
Yeah. They're just honestly they're the consistency of it and the fact that they're not pulling any punches. I am blown away by this series. It's a hell of a good ride.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a fan so far. Like I think I said in the first episode, like I understand this isn't for me, but like I'm along for the ride, and now I think I'm like actually strapped in and like semi invested. And today was
Nice.
probably the first day that I realized I was like, oh yeah, last week's episode was a banger, and I was like, okay, I'm actually excited to watch tonight's episode. And then I was like, oh yeah, but we're going back to the Lifedeath story. Meh. Oh.
You're a little nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair.
But yeah.
That's fair because
But
we knew, like, I had a feeling, and that's usually what happens with like, if you want to call it a mid-season finale, like a big thing will happen like that, and it's like, okay, it'd be a cool down episode, probably not discuss it at all, or if maybe into the last couple minutes, and that's what we got exactly. We were the
yeah.
two people that we were focused on learned about the events of episode 5 at the very end.
But we also still got like some pretty cool ass shit. Like it wasn't just
Yeah.
like a filler episode with like a, oh, and here's this. It was like pretty
Yeah.
solid.
This is
Yeah.
like a lot of the Shi'ar Empire stuff is what I meant. Like I probably brought this up every episode, it feels like, but when I said that the X-Men get weird, and that when I saw the Beast was in space at the end of the Marvels, like they deal with space threats all the time, and it's a big part of what the X-Men do. So it's awesome to see that they're not shying away from that side of things in the cartoon. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's get into it.
All right. You want to dig into it?
I want to dig into it. I want to get my knife and my fork and eat with 2
All right,
hands.
let's
I'm
do
excited. All right.
So be used to it.
Did you
That's
notice any Did you notice any changes to the intro? Did you watch the intro?
Nightcrawler, I saw him show
Yes.
up, and I
No.
realized, I was like, I wonder, I was looking at the group shots, I was looking for Gambit, I was like, I wonder if they just absolutely erased his ass. But I
think he might be in group scenes, but he's not in
yeah.
There's no title. Yeah, there's no title for him. There's no title for Magneto. Yeah.
I didn't start looking for stuff until I noticed Nightcrawler, and I was like, oh yeah, you need to pay attention to this. Instead of just jamming out to yeah.
It's nice that you appreciate the music though. They had a few other moments, like it's usually after a lot of the names. It's in the latter half of the intro that they start putting like clips in between names and stuff. So what I noticed anyways, and I probably missed some other stuff, but I saw for the first time Charles and Lilandra's romance in some way. I saw Cable versus Apocalypse, so I think that's the first time we've seen Cable in the intro. I could be wrong. There's some Dark Phoenix moments, which is cool to see again, and there's also a short moment with Nimrod, the Super Sentinel, that comes out of Master Mold's chest, and the X-Men are fighting him. And I guess what you might be wondering, who the hell is Nimrod, and what am I talking about?
Nimrod is the Green Day CD that I bought, that my mom actually bought me at Walmart, even though it said explicit on it, and I knew every single word to all of their songs. It was like the third CD I ever had in my life.
Such a good fucking album, 100%. And he is not named after Green Day CD, but he's named after, I guess, a biblical character from the book of Genesis. Yeah, named Nimrod.
There was a guy named Nimrod in the Bible.
Yeah, he was like a hunter of some evils or something, or I don't know. I'm probably butchering it, but Nimrod.
Oh, I bet he was a real dummy.
See, that's the thing, is I think Numbskull, Nimrod, things like that get thought of as just another word for dumb. But yeah, Nimrod is described in Genesis as the first on Earth to be a mighty man. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. So Nimrod is a hunter. He's a super sentinel. He's a lot smaller than the big ones because he doesn't need to be a massive sentinel. He's just incredibly proficient. He's created by sentinels, so he's like the super AI version of sentinels, and he just hunts mutants across time and space. Pretty sure.
What?
Like
what
90% sure about that.
An asshole. What a sphincter.
Right?
I bet that Nimrod became the word Nimrod as we use it now because he was like what we call now a himbo. Maybe.
Wait, huh? Are you saying it became the way we use Nimrod now is because the original Nimrod was a bit of a himbo?
Yes. That's
that
exactly
is what you're saying. Okay.
Yes.
I'm caught up now, and fuck, you might be right.
I might be.
That's
I might be
awesome.
crazy. I might be stretching with my mush brain.
I kind of want to see a comic strip about the adventures of Nimrod the Himbo from Genesis times. And I want it to be played to Nimrod the album by Green Day.
Yes.
So
okay. Yeah.
That's my Christmas wish. If you can make that come true, I'll love it forever.
I put a pin on that. That is amazing. Put a pin on that.
All right.
Just put that there for
drawing
a second.
On my notes a little pin.
Okay.
I don't know how else to explain this.
Christmas wish.
Yes. But yeah, those are the differences in the intro. I didn't see any others. If you saw others, please comment on any of podcast platforms or on YouTube. Please let us know what we missed, because the fact that they're changing it every episode is dope, and I really like looking for that stuff.
Yeah. And I hate that I forget until a certain point. Thank you, Keith, for not throwing it to me to see if I found anything. Well, except for Nightcrawler. You let me do it first so that it's not did I miss anything, Emmy? No, I don't fucking know.
I didn't want to put that on you. The weight on your shoulders would be
me.
too great. I wouldn't want to do that. It'd be too mean. What is your first note about the episode? I have, if I'm being honest, 4 pages total of notes. We have gotten through a half. So I have 3.5 left.
Okay. And I have 1
they are
per use.
All bullet point.
Okay.
I'm moving it all down so that now it's on its own. Okay, here we go. What's your first?
Okay. The Watcher. First shot, we see him in the sky.
What? You're fucking with me now.
I'm not. I'm really? Either that or I'm stupid. There's a possibility that it's that. I saw it was like the side of his head and his ear.
Well, they're just doing it every episode now. That's crazy.
Now that I've said it, I don't know that I want to say it.
No, you know what though? You're probably right, and I wasn't paying attention because I watched this first at 7 a.m, and then again while looking down at notes and stuff this afternoon. So you're probably right. I just didn't.
The very first shot, you just see the sky. They're like pew 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 pew.
All right. Well, that's something I'm going to look for on my third watch through after this podcast.
It kind of looks like you're looking for it right
I am
about now.
I might be looking for it. I might be at the point right now. Wait. I think I see him. All right.
It
was so quick.
Yeah. It was like the very it was like the outline of his ear, and then I thought I saw his ear in the second after they move. He has ears.
I'm just kidding. I just wanted you to think for a second.
I was like, oh my god, wait a minute.
When did that motherfucker grow ears? No, I'm just kidding. He's always
Okay. But yeah, first shot.
That's awesome.
The Watcher, and then Ronan.
Yes,
I thought it was Ronan, but he was green instead of blue, and I was like, I don't know.
I don't know why they I get that bright green was probably too much like other Marvel villains, but I don't know why they chose to put him in black in Guardians of the Galaxy. He is blue skinned. That's pretty typical.
Yeah.
But yeah, they didn't make him. Maybe the color scheme just wasn't the art. The art director was like, no, let's change it up. But yeah, good catch, Ronan, the Accuser.
Yeah,
doing his accusery thing.
I recognized him based on his hammer. And the
Yes.
hammer is his penis.
It's
Dr.
certainly, and not just a metaphor.
Oh, Dr. Horrible sing-along blog.
Is that a reference to Dr. Horrible sing-along blog? Yep. His hammer
Later,
is
I'm
his
going to show
penis.
her my hammer.
And my hammer.
By hammer, I mean penis. It's great.
God.
So great.
Can you imagine if
Neil...
they're all the hammers in all the MCU were meant to be metaphorical penises?
Yeah. Like
well,
when
Ronan,
people switch out wands
that
for
big hammer
penises
energy.
Or baguettes in Harry Potter. Maybe it's just me. But no, Dr. Horrible sing-along blog. Neil Patrick Harris, Nathan Fillion, and I forget her name, but she's been in Supernatural. She's been in a ton of stuff. Red hair. Oh shoot, she plays Penny.
She plays Penny in what?
Dr. Horrible sing-along blog.
Now I'm gonna be so... I don't know who it is. It's not showing me the cast with any... There's no women in this, apparently, according to the cast listed on Google.
I'll find her.
Felicia Day.
Felicia Day.
From The Guild. Yes. Love Felicia Day.
Yes. She's been in a ton of stuff.
Season 7 of Buffy. Yeah. She plays she plays one of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer's disciples. She tries to teach a bunch of future Slayers, so that there's more against the great threat in the season finale. It's good shit. Slay Queen. My first note is Deathbird flying in and saying a sweet ass line to Ronan. She says, "You shall be memorialized as the corpse upon which I pose." I was like, that's dope. That is a great line. I love Deathbird.
That's okay. It was cool, but it was also like, very Hella-esque. It reminded me of Hella.
Yeah,
and
she's giving me Hella vibes as well.
Yeah, I didn't know who was the bad guy, who was the good guy. And I was just like, all right, you know what? They're just fighting. We'll just fight. That's cool. I'll root for both sides.
And that's the thing you learn.
Go ahead. Well, I didn't know who was an alien and who was a mutant. Are they different?
Kinda.
Are there alien mutants?
They are definitely different. Alien mutants, I don't think so. I think that mutants are primarily an Earth thing. Because they do reference it later that even the Shi'ar Empire looks down on mutants and looks at them as a lesser version of humans, a lesser version of Terrans. Which is funny.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah. But everybody in that ship, everybody in that fight, everybody essentially except for Charles Xavier is an alien from different planets.
Gotcha. And
because with the Shi'ar Empire, and what they so. Can I give you a bit of backstory on the Gladiator specifically?
Which honestly, I'm sorry, just real quick, I shouldn't be shocked that they have like these powers because the Kree have the shape-shifting powers. So like,
the Skrulls have shape-shifting powers.
What did I say? Damn it.
Kree. It's okay.
Shit.
It's all right. I'll edit it out.
Y'all are gonna be yelling at me. All right. So the Gladiator. Are you not entertained?
I'll be mad if he doesn't say that before the end of the season. But no, the Gladiator, for example, is one of many species or beings from various planets that the Shi'ar Empire has overrun. And when they took over their planet, they were one of the first ones. They were called, I have it in my notes here, scrolling down, bear with me. They are called Strotiums. And
I'm sorry, scrotum what?
Yeah, I know it sounds a lot like we can call them scrotums. They're called scrotums, and they were basically an early race that the Shi'ar Empire conquered, and they made them cadets to put to work as the Shi'ar Empire's soldiers. And essentially, the Gladiator that we see in this episode, he was like the valedictorian of his class, and he was one of 10 that was picked to have their abilities enhanced. This other thing Shi'ar Empire does is experimental stuff on people's powers and people's abilities and stuff. So they can make super soldiers essentially. So they were going to give him the opportunity to be enhanced, but what he had to do, his final test, was to go back to his home planet and kill the Council of Elders that raised him. and he was the only one of the 10 that passed this test. The rest of them couldn't go through
Oh,
with it. So he came back and became essentially the grand bodyguard, the protector of whoever's in charge of the Shi'ar Empire. Thank God it's right now Lilandra, because she has a problem with siblings. All of her siblings are nuts.
don't we
But
all?
yeah, yeah. um, so this is the type of people we're dealing with. The Shi'ar Empire, for the most part, everybody but Lilandra is kind of, or Lilandra. That's how I think Charles says it. They're all kind of crazy elitists. They think they know what's best, and as we'll probably get into it, they invade, conquer, and chop people off at the knees, extending a helping hand afterward, and say, hey, we're the only people that could save you, and they are in the snake oil racket, as Charles says. So very interesting thing to hear these days. Wonder what the metaphor might be there, but just saying, we ain't gonna get into that. Just
Okay.
something nice to hear once in a while.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yep, I agree. And that's that on that.
What is your next note, Emmy?
Charles.
Is it just the word
With an exclamation point.
that he's back?
Yeah.
Better than ever. He's walking.
He's
got a sweet new suit.
When you first see him, he's got that weird helmet thing that has a weird nose thing. Yeah, that was very descriptive. And I was like, no. And also, he's walking. Charles, you got legs.
You got legs. How'd you do that, Lieutenant Charles?
I was just like, I don't know. And then I was like, no, it's gotta be. And also I did see that in the intro, and I was like, no, okay. So yeah. I was very excited to see him.
Yeah, and he's been gone a long time, and people assume he's dead, and I think the X-Men know that he's not, but we learned that he's been with her this whole time, and she kind of has a difficult ultimatum to lay on him. But we can get to that in a moment. The next note I have is we're kind of like with what this episode has with the Charles plotline, we're introduced to almost a very similar thing that Rogue and Magneto were going through in the last episode, with basically a political marriage made to solidify union and be public, very, very public thing. The only real difference being that no one here seems to like Charles. No one here seems to like. No one wants to be aligned with the humans, the Terrans. We are a subspecies of some kind to them. Harkening back to obviously a lot of great metaphors with bigotry and oppression and everything like that. So it's basically, if you want to know what the show is really hinting at when it comes to the subtext, Shi'ar Empire are assholes, and they want you to not be whatever you are. They want you to be them or get the hell out. Yeah.
Was it this episode, or was it something else that I've watched recently that said the word colonizers?
It was this episode. Yeah, they do bring that up. Forge and Storms, and the Shi'ar Empire are colonizers. That's exactly what. Much like Thanos, except Thanos more often than not just. No, I guess he did. I guess with his children, each of the Thanos's children is technically a stolen. Like almost like a what's the name for the syndrome you get with a hostage situation? Stockholm syndrome. It's like he takes them from this world that he's essentially destroying, or at least half destroying, and then gains a new child every week. Ugh. Gross. Yeah. But yeah, colonizers. Good word.
Kind of like Angelina Jolie did there for a minute.
Her name is Thena. And she's awesome now. She was in a Marvel thing, so we like her again.
Sorry, it was a joke there for probably in the late 90s. Honestly, like, the woman wants to adopt some kids. Like, yeah, let her. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Calm down, everybody.
It's one of those things where, it's like became like a trope of celebrities to do that. Yeah, and she was just leading the charge. I don't think she was the first to do that or
No,
to
I think
be
Madonna
known for doing
also.
that. Yeah, she won't
Yeah.
be the last either, I'm sure.
No. No. Um. So I learned a new word.
Ooh,
Uh, jingoism.
yes, I looked it up as well to make sure I was using it correctly, but I'd heard it before, but I'd never. Yeah, what did you get for the deaf
The deaf is
initiative?
ex extreme patriotism, like aggressive and warlike
Yeah,
patriotism. Yeah, like
yeah,
very us versus them. Yeah, I had never heard that word before.
and it comes right after the big declaration that she's like, Lilandra is like, uh Charles Xavier is so great, and basically he's stolen my heart, and he will be your new king, or your new he will rule alongside me, and then everybody's just like, ugh. And
They
he's like,
say,
well, now that that's out of the way, that jingoism.
yeah, they
Yeah,
say royal consort. They use this for Camilla as well, that she's the queen consort. And I there's something so like icky about that word. It sounds like she's my like concubine or like my mistress or like there's something
yeah,
so like I don't
I
know.
agree.
You know,
Well, they
like the
point it out. he
connotation.
he points it out immediately. He says, where is it? Hang on, I do have that line.
He says it sounds like I'm your pet. She
Pet,
says
yeah, but then
she
he's
says
into
something
it.
like,
He's
yeah.
like, not an entirely displeasing thought. And it's like, he's into pet play. Okay. Oh,
All
King
right.
Shane. Whatever.
No.
No. But he and then she says the joke back, like, hush now, beloved. You may bark later. I thought that was
Yeah.
great. But yeah, I think he was just making a joke of like, oh, what if he didn't have to be in charge all the time, like back home? But yeah, it does make him sound like a well, they treat him like a dog anyway, right? They treat him like they
Well,
call him out his freak fluence
okay.
from
All
the
right.
Milky Way
Which
ghetto.
listen, listen, listen. I think those were two of my favorite things. First of all, before we go there, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yes, I understand that they think that the Terran is like beneath them.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, yeah, all right. Call him something kind of sort of like a pet. They use it for Camilla.
Which one's
She
Camilla?
she is the allegedly Prince or King Charles was having an affair on Diana with
Oh,
Camilla before.
right.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And then they got married
Yeah.
after. Yeah. And so
Right.
now she's queen consort, Camilla.
Huh.
Like it's just like bleh. It just sounds like it sounds tawdry. It sounds lewd. It sounds
Yeah.
dirty.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you don't really hear the word consorting used
Me,
except in a
me,
negative connotation. Like if you hear like, oh, you're consorting with these people or whatever, it's like, oh, you're in with criminals, or
doing
you're in with, you're doing
dirty
bad stuff.
dealings.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, yeah, the word consort just doesn't sound like anything other than, because I'm sure all it means is to interact with, type of thing. But it's still like, okay,
Yeah.
is that all we're doing? Is that all this is? We're just interacting? That sounds meaningless. Yeah.
Did I get the right name of the king? Who was the king before? Charles. It's Charles.
Charles. You said
Charles.
Charles. Yeah.
Charles.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah, you
king
got it
now,
right.
right? Okay. All
Charles.
right.
Yeah.
Who was the
Yeah.
one
For
that died?
the Queen.
No. Who was Queen Elizabeth's husband?
Oh, I want to say
Did he die in my lifetime?
he did. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm now typing in Queen Elizabeth's dead husband
yeah.
into Google. I
I'm
should know this
sorry.
shit. I'm Canadian, for fuck's sakes, and I
God
still
save
Prince
or
Philip.
whatever. Philip.
That's the one that
Philip.
Matt Smith played in The Queen
Yeah.
or The Crown.
The Crown. Yeah.
The Queen. Well, that'd be a terrible name for a show. Anyway,
um.
The Queen.
Okay.
What's it about? It's kind of on the nose. Wasn't that the Helen Mirren movie anyway? The Queen.
I'm thinking the Queen's Gambit, Queen
Great
Charlotte.
show. Great show. Queen's
I haven't
Gambit.
seen it.
Still. Oh, it's sick.
That
You'd like
has
it.
Anya Taylor-Joy in it, doesn't
It
it?
does indeed. Who played
Okay.
Magic in the New Mutants?
I
Colossus's
like her.
sister. Way to bring it back around to X-Men, Abby. That
I,
was impressive.
that's exactly what I was trying to do. Um. Uh. Okay,
We're
you brought up
learning, Brandon. We're learning.
we're learning. two of my favorite lines were the freak fluids. I laughed out loud. Like that is
It's a good one.
Yes. Ew.
Yeah, that's a really good line.
And
Mixing
also,
off his freak fluids. Yeah.
yeah.
Gross.
And the Milky Way ghetto, like honestly, like I get it. We are truly the trailer park of the universe.
Space. They'd look down on us instantly.
Yeah. We are Spaces, Florida. Like I get it. I get it. I would too.
Any Floridian listeners, we love your oranges.
But also just type in Florida man or Florida woman every day.
I also love the phrase, he was born on the wrong side of the stars instead of the tracks. That was pretty smart. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I had two nitpicks this whole episode, but neither of them are enough for me to think that the episode was bad. You got more?
I got one it's a big one. Oh, two, and one of them's a big one.
Okay, well, neither of mine I don't think are big, but I am interested in what yours would be. But the one is Xavier and Deathbird are kind of like sparring verbally back and forth, and she says, you said the quiet part out loud to him, and I was like, is that a phrase that existed in 97? Now I understand we're in space, maybe they invented it and then it got down here, but I feel like saying the quiet part loud was not something people started saying until maybe in the last, like, maybe, if I'm being generous, 10 years. But again, I'm nitpicking, so I don't really care. I
feel like because it doesn't have to do with technology, it probably has always been.
It might be, yeah. You're right.
A bit of a phrase, but yes, it's definitely that we have an issue with people saying the quiet part out loud now in certain spaces, and it's like, oh God.
Yeah.
All right.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. The other nitpick I have is purely that that Storm's costume comes out of nowhere again, like Sailor Moon. It made a little bit more sense with Madeline Pryor because she's projecting an image, like she's both telekinetic, so she can move things, but she's also able to get in people's minds and make them see things. So it's like, if she wants people to see her in a new outfit, that's fine. Whereas Storm doesn't have that ability, so I was like, "What? Where the fuck this outfit come from?" But I'm not gonna fight too hard because I love the outfit. So, yeah.
Like the Emperor's New Clothes. Like Madeline Pryor truly is naked, but she's projecting.
An
outfit.
Yeah. She's like, no one needs to know.
Yeah. Okay. That second one, I mean, that's a good point. It's a good point.
I mean, I want to say that it's maybe that she's just a goddess who can make outfits. I don't fucking know. I don't understand how it works, but
that's
good for
sexist.
her. I was still, well, I mean, I could say God, I suppose.
Oh no, that she can make outfits.
Oh, I didn't mean she's like a goddess of outfits. I just meant
I know. I am just messing.
The goddess of sewing seamstresses. No. Anyways, what were we gonna say? What are your nitpicks?
Not my nitpicks. Okay, I'll go with the small one first. I've already mentioned it. Just the fact that she smacked Forge in part one, and then this one she says "my love." It's obviously not been that long. I'm sure you can argue that time doesn't move the same way or whatever. His infection has grown, or no, like he's sick now, and like all of a sudden you're in love with him. No, okay,
yeah.
no.
Well, I don't disagree, but I do as well. So
you're not wrong, but you're also very wrong.
No, everybody's entitled to their opinion. There's no wrong answers. No, I just think that the stuff he's doing to help her and the way he tried to explain that he was doing what he was doing for the government at a time when he was mad, when he was lost, and all this other stuff. He's not that guy anymore. I don't know how long she could be mad at the guy who's literally trying to help her get her powers back now. And it's like, people change, and I think that she knows that, and herself is going through some changes. So I think that she would forgive him. I don't know that she'd be calling him my love that quickly. That was a little surprising, but
like maybe my boo, maybe, but my love,
my sweet bag,
something
like that.
Yeah, my side piece,
Bay.
Bang. Yeah. But I don't know. Yeah. That quickly of a turn to
Mhm.
it was just like yeah. Okay. All right. So my second nitpick,
Okay.
and this is a bigger one. So Storm and Forge have been trying in the desert for however long, we don't know, to get her powers back. And then she overcomes her self-saboteur, as they would say on RuPaul's Drag Race. Her
Yeah.
inner saboteur, and then all of a sudden her powers are back. She had mutant ED.
I was I was less I wasn't bothered by this at all because of that's very often the case with people, when they go to the Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters, as its full name. um it is about focus, and it's usually about like the right motivation being found for people to even start using their powers properly, or use them when they want to use them, type of thing. So this is a common thing that you see in X-Men stuff. But what I liked more about it was the conversation that happened between her and the adversary, where she was exactly battling her inner saboteur, which was the adversary. Like, it had her voice, it was speaking just to her a lot of the time.
Uh-huh.
It was, yeah, like, and then the line about, let me find it here. Believe the lie, I believe, is one of them. When the saboteur the saboteur when the adversary, Drag Race fans are gonna love that.
Yeah.
When the adversary was making her kind of like last go at Storm, when she's trapped in the cave and she's having trouble getting out and she's stuck and it's crushing her, um, she says, Storm says to her, or to it, "No, you demon, not a daydream. The executioner's neutralizer was not the only weapon tamping down my gifts. There was that lie." And she says, "And I believed it." And the adversary is like, "Be warned, be smart, believe the lie, deny your power, play dead, or humanity will thunder down upon you and your kind. You are all an echo of who I am." Um, and then she says, "So let them thunder, for I am lightning," which is a great monologue from
Great
Storm.
line. Great line.
Um, but earlier, Forge, when they first get to the cave, he's talking about, um, she asks him, why did they let the colonizers come and wipe out their people, and he says, "Oh, because they came saying that they were here to help, not unlike
Mhm.
the way that we met." And then he says that when he was a child, he remembers, let me find that as well, hang on a second. um he says, so, okay, Storm says first. Storm tells Forge in the cave, about how she confessed to Jean recently about wondering what it would be like to be human. She said, "No matter how many people I saved, my mutant gifts inspired twice as much hate in humanity. In a way, your machine failing is a blessing. I am better this way." And Forge responds to her by saying, but then he gets
Well,
cut off by his own coughing. He says, "Growing up, I always heard that the worst weapon used by the Europeans was not bullets or blankets, but a white lie that they could make us," and then he gets cut off, "to make us believe that you're weak.
yeah.
If your adversary can make you believe that you're weak and you don't believe in yourself and you don't believe in your right to exist or your right to live, then you'll be powerless." And that's what they can do. And so she had convinced herself. So I think the metaphor stands true with that, especially that she was stopping herself from connecting with her old goddess, um, mutant self, because before she was recruited by the X-Men, this is a long explanation, I apologize. Before she
No, it's
was
okay.
recruited, she was revered and worshipped as a goddess in Kenya, and she would bring them the rain to help them with their crops. She wore that black and yellow suit, and then she was recruited as an X-Men to be a crime fighter. And it was a little bit less of a tier. It was just a bit lower down, but she was a hero in a different way. So I think that this helped her kind of get outside herself, get outside her depression, get out of her own way, her inner saboteur, touch grass, and remember who she was. And that was what she needed in order to, because the reason he says that the worst weapon they can have against you is the white lie is because she said that she's better this way. She thinks he's hearing her say that she's convinced that she shouldn't have powers. And it's like, apply that to anything that this metaphor is for. The queer community, that's letting them think that they should stay in the closet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fucked.
Yeah.
That's awful. So, you'll make, everything will be easier if you just stay in the closet. And it's like, for some, it's life or death if they don't stay in the closet. I get that. But for the most part, you gotta be yourself. You gotta get out there and make the world safe for your people. Make the world safe for you. And so it's a huge, heavy-handed metaphor, but I think that's what the X-Men are all about. So I'll stop talking now. You say stuff.
That is a beautiful explanation, Keith. You gotta poke a tiny little hole in it. I'm sorry. It is beautiful.
Hit me.
Love the metaphor. I love it. I think it's great. But she had all those feelings the whole time that she was Storm. So what was it about the Executioner's neutralizer that like snapped her into this? But I
think
I feel like that's.
I think the events leading up, like episode 1 and 2, it might be a good idea to revisit them, thinking about what she was moved by, because they were experiencing more, a reintroduction of hate with the friends of humanity and stuff. And in the original series, all they did was deal with the Friends of Humanity and other protester groups and terrorist groups that would be against their freedom and their right to exist. So, I mean, maybe she was just kind of responding to years of feeling kind of defeat.
Yeah.
And I think in general, if she's used to being worshipped as a goddess back in Kenya, and then comes to a different world where it's all hatred. I don't know. I am explaining away, and I'm not trying to dismay or what's the word?
Discredit my point.
Discredit. I'm not trying to discredit. I'm not trying to invalidate your point. You have a great point, and it is, I think, when she was completely robbed of her connection to the elements, she just got into a huge state of depression. And that's the other metaphor going on with this whole arc for her is you hear, that self-saboteur stuff is obviously all very specific to depression. And there's another line that I loved. I'm gonna look for it. Give me 1 minute, but please tell me your thoughts on this.
I think I see it, and I might be playing devil's advocate against my own point, but possibly the Executioner's blast was temporary, but it put her into that spiral that
Sure.
like some people have psychosomatic injuries that like they're medically not explained, but their brain and the state that they're in is telling them like, no, you cannot move a certain part of your body. Or so okay, all right,
I think it was.
I
think you're right. That maybe the neutralizer, maybe it only worked a week, but a week of depression is all it takes.
And then she left her friends,
yeah,
left her family.
Yeah, she ejected herself from her normal support system. Which, there you go. Don't do that.
All right, Keith, you had me come around on this.
The only other thing that I wrote specifically about depression was that the adversary being a metaphor for it, and the title Lifedeath, because you're walking around, sure, you're technically alive, but you don't feel it when you have chronic depression or severe depression. So
like go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say even the most minor examples, getting away from the pressures of life and what stresses you out and finding yourself and coming back stronger than ever is what people have to do in the face of such adversaries like depression. And it's not easy for everybody. There's definitely bigger cases where you'd have to do more and you have to, you need more help. Yeah. But it's just, I think that character, the adversary specifically, is not only a stand-in for society telling her that she shouldn't be who she is, as well as herself telling her, because it had her voice and it's her own depression in her head getting to her. Yeah.
I was
What
gonna
else you got for me? Throw me another one. No, I'm just kidding.
Now you're feeling psyched up. No, I was gonna say the depression thing is like I hate to say this. I don't think you guys, I don't think this is a phenomenon in Canada. You guys don't have medication advertisements, do you?
Oh my God. If we definitely do. The problem is I'm the last person you should ask because I haven't had cable TV or
Oh,
like listen to the radio in a very long time. So if there were any commercials hitting me, it'd be like the billboards that I ignore, or like maybe YouTube when someone
but
else's account is logged in.
for like prescription medicine,
I think we do.
like you
I
have
think
to
I do see
like
that.
ask your doctor about. Ugh.
Yes, that is still a thing we see up here. Just I don't think
Oh,
it's as
okay.
common
Sorry,
because
I
of
thought you guys were
our healthcare
civilized.
system. I don't think it's as common, and I think you're right. And the ones I'm seeing, I might be seeing on American channels. I don't know, because
Oh,
I
that's
know
fair too.
there's certain channels that play American programming, but when they go to commercial, they switch to Canadian commercials.
Yeah,
And then there's other ones where we see American commercials. So I honestly don't know.
that's I see British commercials when I watch Channel 4, and this is off the rails. I'm sorry, completely sidetracked. The
Mhm.
Domino commercials in the UK are far superior. They're like dramatic scenes and like and
Really?
yeah, their like slogan is Domino woohoo. And so like it's like this, oh wait. Then the guy's like leaving on the train and the woman's running after the train and she's like, I have to tell you, Domino woohoo. And it's fantastic. Fantastic. They got it.
Well, damn. I mean, that's making me want to get Domino's right now. Just hearing you do a paraphrasing of that commercial. Now I want to get Domino woohoo in my own life.
Oh, but do you want diarrhea?
I I mean, you and Brandon apparently both get diarrhea from Domino's. I don't know the last time I
I'm,
experienced that. I think
I'm
it's more
pretty sure I'm
Taco Bell.
lactose intolerant, and I
Well, that'll
refuse.
do it.
I refuse to eat cheese. Or no, I refuse to
You used to
stop eating
stop
cheese.
eating cheese. Yeah. What's the last cheese you had? What happened afterwards? Pretty much that's the easiest test I think anybody could test themselves for.
Because I used to have cheese sticks in the fridge at school, and like every once in a while, that was like my little snacky snack during class, and everyone was like, "Oh, she loves." Like all the students would be like, "Oh, you love a cheese stick, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah," but then I was like, "Oh, that's why I've been having liquid shits." Okay, I'm very sorry. So trigger warning. It's too
Trigger
late for
warning
that.
for liquid chitophobes. It's happening.
But no, I'm sorry. My point there
What
was
is your
that
next
there's
point? Yeah.
a depression advertisement that has like the mask with the happy face on it, and the person behind it's not happy, and just
Yeah.
like walking through life, it's just like yeah, you're there, you're just going through the motions, like trying to yeah.
Yeah, you're
Oh
just
God, my
associating. You're not really
yeah
there. Yeah.
yeah. My next note though, oh God, I we've jumped all over the place. Oh, okay, since we're talking about the adversary, this is what I
Yeah.
told you to put a pin in. So
Okay.
that
Got it.
the adversary, who I still think is Lechuza from Aztec culture, but evil owl.
Evil
So
Owl. Yeah.
everybody knows that I love Rockin' Reindeer. I watch it every year at Christmas. I've made multiple
100%.
people watch it. I understand that for other people, it's the stuff of nightmares. However, I love it. And there was another movie that I used to love around Christmas time, and it's called The Wish That Changed Christmas. And it was a movie of a doll who was alive in a toy shop who just all she wanted was to be loved by a little girl. And this little girl who goes to the city to try and find her grandma and is just like out on the streets trying to find, I think she's an orphan. But it's the doll's
Wow.
name is Holly, and there's this horrible evil owl in the toy shop that's like
Ooh.
talking to Holly the doll, who's like, you're dressed in Christmas stuff, and like after Christmas nobody's gonna want you, you're awful, you piece of shit. He doesn't say that, but
You piece of shit.
yeah. but just like he's horrible and just like screeches and is mean to this poor doll who, I mean, just, is alive in a toy store and just wants to be loved. And
Is it
it
called
seems
Abracadabra?
no,
So
it's
what
either
am I?
based on Abracadabra or oh, it might, I
But you're
think
not
it's
sure
based
the
off of
name.
a book called The Story of Holly and Ivy, because the girl's name is Ivy. But
Okay.
the name of the movie, 100%, and I found it on YouTube. It was a 30-minute clip that is like straight to TV. The wish that changed Christmas.
Oh, okay. My bad. Sorry. Abracadabra is the name of the owl, I think. Abracadabra
Oh,
is the main antagonist in the book, The Story of
yes.
Holly and Ivy, and the adaptation is the wish that
Yes,
changed
yes.
Christmas. Okay, I
Abracadabra,
feel
the
like I've seen that
adversary.
animation before. When you were describing it, it was very vivid to me.
Because and I completely forgot. I've not thought about that in ages, ages.
But you're right,
But
the
I used to
eyes
watch it.
and the nose being like so the eyes are so close and they're so huge, and then the
Mhm.
nose being right up kind of in between them instead of down from them. Yeah, that
And
is damn good sense memory right there.
I didn't think about it until it started to rotate its head. The adversary started
Yes.
to rotate its head, and then that's what I remember from that movie. It terrified
Oh
me.
yeah.
I hated that.
So this cut to the core of you is what you're saying. This brought
Yes,
up a childhood trauma by
trauma.
just being a creepy motherfucking owl, animated owl,
Hmm.
and its head spin. I loved when its head spun around and it was creeping
It
closer and
was
closer to her. So cool. I
it
loved it
was
so
cool,
much,
but
but
I
I
didn't.
get you.
I was
I hear you.
childhood traumatized.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
See, when movies make me feel that way, I, I love them more.
It's doing something. It's
I'm a
doing.
sicko like that.
Yeah.
I'm always like, damn, this one cut to the core of me, and it doesn't even know me. How did it do that?
Well, it
Yeah,
had me
that
Google
is cool.
something from my childhood that I
Mhm.
probably, after I watch the new season of The Circle tonight, at least whatever episodes are available,
You're gonna
I
watch
will probably
The Wish That
watch The
Changed
Wish That
Christmas.
Changed Christmas. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Because I don't probably haven't seen it since I was 5.
I'm convinced that
Crazy.
the only animated, because I've seen other animated owls and they are also creepy, but the only ones that I can think of that are like nice looking are the ones from like Winnie the Pooh, and I think in the Sword and the Stone, the Disney version, they do turn into owls at some point, or Merlin does at least,
Oh,
and he doesn't look that scary. But like other animated owls, totally,
creepy.
totally creepy. Or maybe not
Yeah.
like the owls of Old Ghoul or whatever the heck it is, Guardians. That
Oh,
the
oh,
3D
what
animation one.
the
That's
hell is that called?
I can't remember. There's so many titles to it. I feel like there's a lot of words in there. The Owls of
That I
Old
never,
Ghoul. I'm getting it so wrong, I'm sure.
never wanted to see that movie.
Legend of the Guardians, colon, the Owls of Gahul.
Yahoo.
So
Well,
that's,
you
I
were a
don't know
lot
if
closer.
I was a lot closer than I expected to be, because the way I was saying it, I thought that sounded like dog shit. And turns out mine sounded a little bit cooler, I think. Gahul. There
Yahoo.
you go. Anybody who's a huge fan of that movie, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to shit on it so hard, but I just think that title is bad. The rest of it's fine. I've never seen it. I just assume it's probably fine. You want to
I've never
hear
seen it either.
another?
They look
Can I get up? Can I get up on a soapbox again for you with my next note?
sure. Yeah.
So there's a moment where Forge is saying to Storm that he wants to come with her. He doesn't want her to go and find this cacti that grows in the darkness herself. Because what he explains to her is that if this nastiness continues, he doesn't want to be alone. And I thought that was a very good role model for young men. I am very much against the idea
Mm-hmm.
of stubbornness and inability um to emote and show we like ask for help
Any
and
kind
show
of
fear.
weakness.
Like
Yeah.
those things are, they don't mean weakness. They don't mean that it's okay to be scared. It's okay to admit those things, and it's safer to admit those things. So I thought this was, if I was a young kid, if I was the age that I was when I was watching the original series and I watched this series, I would have liked to learn that lesson. I would have liked to look at Forge and hear somebody say, you know, I don't want to be alone if the bad stuff happens. Please, can I come with you? Type of thing. And it's just nice. It's just nice to see.
Or you would have yelled at the screen and been like, "Pussy."
That, you know what? By high school, everybody would have been telling me to do that 100%.
Yeah.
That was
But
that toxic masculinity just is the worst in high school age. But
yeah. But no, the younger kid, yeah, I think that's a really good point too. That needs to be shared. That it's okay to ask for help. Because I even feel like I'm very much not a person who asks for help. If I say I'm
You
gonna
and I
do
are both like that.
something, I'm like I'm doing it, and I will be damned if anybody's gonna help me with it.
You and I are both like that, and it's not a generational thing. I'm not trying to say that either. It's an individual person thing. You and I are very much alike that way, 100%. Whatever went on in our early life, our role model or something didn't like asking for help, so we don't. I don't know.
I recently, and I think I've shared a little bit, like I was like 2 weeks behind on like meeting paperwork and stuff. I was literally under a mountain of paperwork there for a minute, but like I was like, I'll be damned if anyone knows that I'm struggling. I think my co-teacher knew that I was like in struggle bus land, and I did ask. Let me tell you, I did ask one person for help. That person is incompetent.
Oh no.
And so it was like, okay, well,
that's a mean thing to say about your cat.
Listen, I was just getting her to do some tests on some students, and she was like, I can't read, and I was like, fuck, damn it.
Useless.
Useless. But no, it was like because it's like when I do reach out for help and then it either doesn't happen in the way that I want it to, because I want to control so many aspects of it. Like if it doesn't happen on the timeline that I want it to, in the way that I want it to happen, like I'm like, I should have just done it myself. And so I do it myself a lot.
I did catch
Child.
See, I feel the same way though. Like I do have a control freak nature. I do want to have, at least the stuff that's representative of my work. I want to make sure I've, been the one to cross all the T's and dot all the lowercase J's. And then when I'm asked, like the best thing I've seen like multiple therapists, shocker, but the one thing that is always said back to me is how would you advise someone else if they came to you with this question, if they came to you with this problem? And I would tell them to be easier on themselves. I'd tell them to not sweat the small stuff. I'd tell them, like, I'd give them every single generous response that you can think to give someone who is being too hard on themselves, but I won't do it for me. So it's like you need to talk to yourself the way you'd talk to another person. You'd move mountains for another person, but for some reason we ourselves don't get the same reaction from us. It's weird.
It's not looking inward. We're getting into some therapy today, man.
And that's why I stopped seeing them, was because they figured it out. They cured me. They told me what I needed. No, I'm just kidding. I just forgot to rebook, and it was expensive. But yeah. What's your next note?
Oh, good Lord.
We're bopping around.
Okay, yeah. All right. Okay. You bringing up that point about Forge not wanting to be on his own if the worst thing was to happen. And I was also talking about work shit, which today was so busy that 3:30, 3:45, I left the school with my lunch still packed. So that was my kind of day. So I was like, you know what? You deserve McDonald's. So I did go home and get McDonald's to eat while I was watching the episode and taking notes.
Nice.
So suck it. I don't know who has to suck it, but yeah, it was just that kind
your
of day.
Day has to. It's your day that has to suck it. Yeah.
And I ended up winning. And you know what?
Yes.
I still have a burger for after the podcast. So
why is it next to you on the desk? Why didn't you just put it in the fridge?
I don't want it to be cold.
You can just microwave it or put it in the oven.
That sounds like too much work. Put it in the oven. Are you kidding me?
Wow, I mean, if it was pizza, I'd say oven over microwave, but burger 15 seconds in the microwave, that's probably good.
Okay, yeah. All right. Fair. But also I was sitting here eating, taking notes, hopped on the pot. I don't
Right.
know.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to judge.
No, you're fine. Please judge away. It's fine.
Let's put it this way, if the burger was next to me, I'd be eating it on the podcast right now in front of all you people. You'd be hearing me because it'd be here, and I'd be like,
It's
yep,
too tempting.
yeah,
Like a Drax with his Zarg nuts.
the Zarg nuts, exactly. I'd eat it so slowly because I would assume that's how you wouldn't see it.
Yeah.
Or hear it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could just mute the mic, but whatever.
Yeah. So I was eating my McDonald's that I got as a prize to myself for making it through today without tears yet. And even animated, the pus on that wound.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Had to stop eating for a second.
That was gross.
Animated. I'm a pus pussy.
I hear you though. That
I'm a pussy.
You're a yes. You never mind. You said it right. I can't improve that. You're a pussy. Yeah, I'm not good with pusses. It didn't bother me as much because it just looked the gel or the balm that she makes from that cacti afterwards looked so like it looked like a Gillette shaving cream of some kind. I was like, that is a generous portion you're putting all over just the general area of that, and then it just miraculously worked.
Healed immediately.
Yeah.
Wow, no, that might be a hole a little bit for me. And he knew exactly where that flower was, but
you think it was too convenient?
A wee bit, just a wee bit. But I think my biggest nitpick of the whole, not the biggest, just a nitpick I had. He's obviously not doing well. He couldn't finish the sentence that you mentioned earlier, which I wanted to say. They can bring blankets. There was the blankets that killed a lot of people because it had disease on them. But he couldn't finish that sentence, so obviously he's not doing well. He needs treatment. I don't know. I would say immediately, but they make it back to the house.
Yeah, true.
What?
Oh, she probably flies them way faster.
Damn it, Keith! You've got all the fucking answers today. All right. Okay.
Which can we talk about that build up and that moment when she did burst out of what the hell is it called? Snowcap mountain.
No, I thought it was
Stovepipe mountain. That sounds right too.
Stovepipe
I thought it started with snow, and then you know what? I'm bringing up the episode.
You know what? The name was something. I was taking a note, and I was like, surely I heard something that was like, surely I didn't hear that right because it was like slightly dirty.
Surely.
Yeah. All right, Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson. That's. I have a particular set of skills.
Completely wrong.
Yeah, you found a new way to screw that up.
What's the guy's name?
I did that all the time. Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen. All right, hey, LN. All right, cool.
It's true. Those are the two easiest ones to screw up, for sure. I'm not gonna find it. I'm not gonna keep looking. But when she blasts out of that mountain and she's flying, and her outfit, and she flies past the horses that they were riding earlier and enjoying together, and she twists up the little lake into 3 spirals of wind. What did you think of that? Was that not badass?
It was badass, and I really like that outfit too. That outfit is pretty cool. It's a little bit more revealing, so I feel like part of me is like, fuck the patriarchy, but also like, she looks cool as fuck. Let her wear what she wants.
That's her original outfit, and she's had like 12 over the years, but that is her iconic 70s first ever Storm outfit, and they go back to it a lot because over the years different artists and different comic writers would draw her. They'd create her in different ways. She's had purple outfits. She's had white. She's had like just the basic blue and yellow kind of stripe
with
down
the
the middle.
X belt.
Yeah. She's had a lot of different ones, but that one keeps coming back because it is so damn cool. Yeah,
it is really cool. She looks like a badass in it, and her hair grows out from the mohawk, and she's all
How's she doing that? I didn't think that was her superpower.
That's my superpower.
That's your superpower?
That was my third class, X-Men third class superpower, was to take hair from one
yeah,
part, grow it out of the parts.
Right. You could have really long toe hair, but you'd be bald.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Cool. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
That's why I didn't sleep last week. I forgot.
Okay. I've got 2 points, and then I would like to get into the toe hair and being bald.
Okay. That sounds exactly where I expected this to go.
I am a witch.
Okay.
Because I feel like we focused a lot on Forge and Storm, and I do want to touch on Charles and Elion.
Lalandra.
Shi'ar.
Yep, from the Shi'ar.
That's
Empire.
another orders.
It is. That's one. I was trying to remember what it was that you'd said in the past. Sounds just like Shi'ar.
Shi'ar. Orders. No. Okay. All right. Forge has mystic arts powers. He called it something else. He said his mom was something. But yeah, okay. But that was mystic arts magic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. For sure.
And then when the adversary is like trying to get her to leave him and let him die on his own, and she's like, look the other way. And Storm says, all lives deserve saving, even his. Yeah. It's like, okay. And then a little bit later she calls him her love, but like also the fact that there's no qualifications on who gets to live. Even if you are a gut-rotted, horrible, awful human being, you still deserve to live. Maybe you should change a little bit, Scrooge. But even those people deserve to be saved.
Is this a question?
No, I'm just making the point. She says that, and it's like, I don't know.
You disagree. You feel that isn't always the case.
No, I like that she made that point because I don't.
Okay. Everybody deserves to be saved. Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
I don't know. There's some people that have done some horrible things to cats that I would kill with my bare hands. Honestly,
that's the line drawn. As long as you don't name names, I don't think they can come after you. Don't worry.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yes. Kevin, if you're listening.
I wouldn't do that. But no. I don't know. It was a cool line, and then the adversary being like, well, if you can just look the other way, like you're not actively killing him. Like you can just like not do anything. Yeah. He just died on his own. Yeah,
the adversary was really banking on her being more scorned and feeling more wrath towards him after what he confessed. But I mean, the guy's clearly pivoted. He's reformed in a lot of ways. And he was part of the Vietnam War. A lot of people got really messed up by that war. So
yeah,
I mean, it's a good war for him to have been in, for him to have like a dark arc and then repent and become someone better, type of thing.
Yeah. Well, and it seems like to highlight the fact that a lot of her hatred is inflicted inward towards herself and not outward. Which honestly, like that's if you're gonna inflict hatred somewhere, probably better inward. Better in than out, I always say.
And they're like onions. Storms are like onions, is what we've learned. Yeah. I'm writing onions down, by the way.
I was gonna say. How on earth can we connect the X-Men to Shrek? You do it very easily. Oh, okay. So being bald, toe hair. Okay, so switching over, unless if you
Right.
have more that you need to say about the adversary and the life death part of
No,
this.
I've kind of wrapped up the adversary stuff. I don't think I have any other notes. If I do, I'll let you
Okay.
know, but I think that's it. Yeah.
I do. I have fewer notes on the Shi'ar.
Shi'ar.
I
The
can't do
Shi'ar
it.
stuff. Yeah.
Shi'ar.
The
Shi'ar.
Shi'ar Empire.
Shi'ar.
Think of the
Shi'ar us.
apostrophe. Think of the apostrophe as just a hyphen.
Well, then I'd say like share. Shire.
No.
No,
Dang
that says that. Okay.
Okay, think of the apostrophe as a space.
Shy. She. Are. Okay. Fuck it. I'm sorry.
I gotta take a cough break. You keep talking.
Okay. That's like like Khonshu. Like every time somebody says it, I have to say bless you. All right. I have fewer notes on this, and I think it's because I had no clue what was going on for most of it. And I got bits and pieces, but like I'm sure there were details that completely went over my head. But
Okay.
all right, I would like to ask you, when she takes
Yes.
off her helmet
Uh-huh.
and her hair is a perfect line that is how would you say that? Vertical, perpendicular to her ears, to her
It's the
vagina.
exact, just say it. It's the exact same shape of the helmet. And what you're asking me is, did the helmet shape the hair, or did they make a helmet the shape of the
To
hair?
shape the hair. Okay, that is also a question I have. But then I have a question after that.
Okay. As far as I know, that is just how their hair grows. It's
Okay. Okay.
everybody who's Shi'ar has
Just
hair like
a
that.
mohawk ear to ear.
Yeah, kind of like an opposite mohawk or a Napoleon, as you might
Maybe.
imagine.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So here's my second question. Would you rather have hair like Shi'ar? That was
Mhm.
better. Or would you
It
rather
was.
be bald?
That's it. So if I had hair like the
Would you
Shi'ar,
rather
I couldn't cut it. It wouldn't grow any other way. I couldn't comb it or style it. It would just be
no.
that shape and only that
Yep.
shape.
Yep.
I'd
Would
rather
you
be
rather
bald.
have Liliandra's hair or Charles?
Or Charles. I'd go Charles. I'd
Okay.
yeah. Yeah. I'd go bald. I'd willingly go bald than to have a like kind of
Peacock feather.
yeah. It's an odd look. It's not great. I'll be honest, but
Mm.
it's alien. It's
It
very
is.
alien because
It's
no
different.
human can do that. That's for sure.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Did you say that you were going to take a cough break and then I just asked you a question like a complete and total twat?
No, I coughed it out. People might have heard it. I don't know, but
Okay.
no, I'm good.
Okay. Cool. Sorry.
No,
If I
I don't need
if
a long cough break. It's okay.
okay, just a little, just a tiny one.
Just a little one. Yeah, just a mini.
Oh, all right. So, Keith, what have we not hit on the Charles Liliandra?
Well,
Leandra.
the main thing that I wanted to ask you about was the stuff that Charles goes into about being a teacher. So Lilandra is also a telepath. Charles is a telepath. They have to um otherwise they're not allowed to rule, I guess. They have to follow the law of the Shi'ar Empire. I'm trying to find the damn name of it. I totally made a note on this. It's essentially the ruling is in their culture that he has to um, do a trial or a test of his loyalty in order to be able to marry a royalty in the Shi'ar people. And Deathbird comes out with, okay, you're going to have to wipe your memories. Totally wipe your memories of Earth. To me,
Okay.
this ain't
Cool.
and Lalandra, the fact that she is like not, I wouldn't say okay with this. She knows it's a big ask. She gets that.
Yeah.
But she's also like, consider it. My sister will overthrow me. I'll lose the trust of my people. They will wreak havoc, and she will likely try to rival my brothers. Totally dictatorship kind of tyrant crusades if we don't do this. And to me, this isn't like asking him to like golf with his buddies less. This is him being asked to not be himself anymore. So it's a weird ask to me. This was not, I wouldn't even say it's a nitpick. It's just like an obvious no. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He mentions it. That's asking him to forget the actual love of his life, which is Magneto.
You know what? With the way that they talk about each other, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Play chess every Sunday.
X-Men along with that, but like I truly think that's like, because he even says this was on my notes too. This is what ends our star-crossed affair.
Yeah.
Like oopsie doo. Which
by the end he's like, so be it. Yeah.
Which an affair is like, that's a fling. That's like
yeah, he just downgraded their marriage.
In a relationship, like, yeah. I was gonna ask this of you and Brandon, but since it's just you here, I'm just gonna ask.
I'll answer for him.
Star-crossed, an allusion to. Where did they get that from?
Star-crossed
lovers.
Well, they're in space, literally.
An allusion is it's alluding to like another famous work of art.
Another thing that, okay, specifically star-crossed lovers. I know I've heard the phrase before.
Yeah.
Where did it originate? Yeah.
In Romeo and Juliet, it's one of the first lines is oh shit, I had it.
Oh, it's magic. Star-crossed lovers refers to any lovers whose affection for each other is doomed to end in tragedy. And
like
yes,
Romeo and Juliet.
Yep.
In Fair Verona, where we lay our scene, something to star-crossed lovers.
I was just gonna, that sounds right.
It's in the first, like, I don't, is that the first like sonnet, first 12 lines of Shakespeare or of Romeo and Juliet?
Yeah, it's in like the Act 1 scene prologue.
Yeah. Fair Verona.
Yeah. Damn, that makes sense.
You know a lot about it.
Yeah, I know so much in just a matter of seconds. It's crazy. Yeah. That's my superpower. I know how to use my keyboard.
The amount of Shakespeare that I was forced to memorize when I was in high school is mind-boggling. Like, I know.
Yeah.
I think I know the prologue. I know Romeo and Juliet's balcony scenes. I don't know them anymore. I know as much as I remember of them. I know something from Merchants of Venice. I know something from Macbeth, and I know something from Julius Caesar. Sound off in the comments below if you also were forced to memorize shit in school. And that's useless. Like, and by memorize shit, I mean like do a performance of it in front of the entire class and like get graded on it.
The only Shakespeare that I had memorized is to be or not to be. That is the question. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune,
or
to die in them. No, to die and no, that's not it.
See, that's.
You know what? Do you want to know why I know that, or at least that one sentence of it? The movie Billy Madison.
I was gonna say Bo Burnham. He does that whole soliloquy, and then he's like, "Bro, what?" He does it beautifully too.
I only know it from Billy Madison. They do an academic decathlon, and the villain in that movie does a really shit job, and then Adam Sandler comes out and just owns him. And that movie does not age well, but is still a favorite.
That's not one that I named, but I did have to memorize that one. Do you know what play that's from?
Hamlet.
Yep.
God, if I got that wrong, that would be sadder. So that's like the only one, because he's talking to poor Yorick in that scene, is he not?
Yes, the skull. Yeah, that's the
skull.
The infamous. Yeah. Oh man.
Talking to skull.
Shrek. Shakespeare, X-Men, MCU. How do we connect it all?
Write it down. Onions.
No. Onions.
Um,
You were talking about the virtue, or the not the virtue. That sounded pompous as fuck. I was
okay.
looking down at my notes and I had written the quote down, but you were talking about the teacher parts of this.
Yes. So when okay, so first I wanted to say that the gladiator clearly has all the same superpowers as Superman. Essentially, he's super strong.
Okay.
He has like powerful breath, not just stinky, but he can blow you away. He
That sounds really
has
stupid.
laser eyes. Well, I think they call it frost breath, but I didn't see him freeze anybody this time. He just blew people away. But yeah, he is on Lilandra's side, which is nice because, you know, in a flip-floppy kind of family who's constantly warring over who should sit in the seat of power, it's nice to know that the gladiator's on her side.
That Superman's gonna fight behind you, yeah.
Yeah. And then Charles says, I almost forgot one of my greatest gifts, one of my greatest abilities. And then he says, everyone, class is now in session. And it's
Yeah, it is.
so damn powerful and cool. And that is what it's not a mansion for hanging out. It's a school for gifted youngsters. And he's always been the dean, the head teacher of these youngsters. So it is nice to see that connection to that. What did you think in that moment? What were your feelings?
I was like, damn it, I thought I was done with school for today, but like also it was pretty cool for him to he took like a bite of an apple, he leaned against the desk, he's in that cool green suit. It was like,
Yeah.
all right, he's repping us well. Like he can, yeah. And then somebody shouts out something and he's like, if you want to ask a question, raise your
Yeah.
hand. And I was like,
He says
God, how many
demerits.
times?
Yeah.
How many times do I say that? We don't have demerits, but like how many
Yeah.
times do
Yeah.
I say raise your hand if you've got a question in a day? Because
Yeah.
I have one class period that just like it's only one class period that they do this, but it's like they cannot raise their hand to ask me a question. They have to approach me, and it's
Oh.
multiple of them at a time, and they know that like once there's like 3 or more, I'm like, get away from me. I can't have this many kids around me. Like, please go back to your desks. I love you guys. I will answer your questions, but please get out of my personal space right now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No,
and
that
it's
would be
just one class
overwhelming.
period. It is. Oh, it's very, very.
It's at the
That's
kindergartners in recess.
yes, yes. That class period today, I had a meeting. Well, I had a whole bunch of stuff that I needed to do, but I had to go run upstairs to get something for one of my meetings, and my co-teacher was in there by herself for that class period. And I walked in, and she said, "All right, you've got them for the rest of class." She was like, "I can't handle another question the entire time they're here." And I was like, I have a meeting in 5 minutes. I'm so sorry. Like, I understand how you feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Your
is
heart goes out.
valid. I will answer all the questions while I'm here for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But
I'm
yeah,
sure that doesn't. Yeah. The constant Q&As. My goodness.
yeah,
You'd be good at
yeah.
them. We gotta do an Avengers Con. You'd be great at it.
I would, as long as they raise their hand and don't approach me, I'm good. And no
Uh,
stupid questions.
the,
But yeah,
but did you
it
have any notes about that? Sorry.
was great. I
Yeah.
just, I don't know. It was good to see him in that light. I had notes about the quotes that they had at the like previously in the episode, like the earlier on when I think she says something about like that's his greatest gift is to be a teacher, is being a teacher, and she wants him to be able to use those gifts for her people, which
Yeah.
I will not say. Um
The Shi'ar people. Yeah.
yes. And
Yeah.
she
She does
says,
bring it up first. Yeah.
yeah, the virtue of a teacher lies in showing their students how to walk on their own. And I was like, oh, that's so true. And then he says, true, but only if he is sure there are no more lessons he can teach. Talking about the X-Men and kind of, she's like, all right, but you got to let them be independent now. And he's like, but
Hmm.
they might still need school to be in session.
And she did, like, she refers to them as his children too, and I think he
Mm-hmm.
does speak to that or perk up to that pretty easily, because that's how it's how he views them. They are a family. It's really nice, and his teacher side comes up again near the end, when he essentially, right before he has this big apocalyptic vision, with a big scary gambit, and all those skulls.
Mm-hmm.
He is talking about basically the idea that the Shi'ar Empire is a snake oil racket, and they essentially, um, they're striking at the knees and claiming that they can help them walk again, and surreptitiously making an opponent weak, so that they can be the ones to offer them strength. And that hit pretty hard. And then the one head of the council, his name is Araki, says, even if we are to agree, you're yeah, I know, his name's awful. Even if we are to agree, your idealism would confuse our people. They might even call it nonsense. And he says the metaphors are pretty awesome here, with bigotry and um foreign policy and homophobia and racism, all of it, really. Just any,
Mm-hmm.
making somebody the other and making somebody less than
Yes.
you are. It's like,
Yes.
yeah, they you'd confuse our people. We'd call it nonsense. Of course, we're in the right. Blah blah blah. But then Charles's rebuttal is one of my favorite lines from this. He says, "Do you want to know a secret? Coexistence is messy. Thus, my
Mm-hmm.
love for education, for my X-Men. Their heroism teaches a lesson we mustn't forget: that the universe is very old, and all of us very young, born of ancient stardust, and all children of the atom." And it's a crazy concept. People don't think about that much, but it's an infinite size as well. It's like, a big thing that I would focus on when I had any kind of problems, when I was younger, was got to look at the big picture. And when you compare your current woes or your current issues with something similar that you had a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, and how quickly you got over them, how minuscule they seem to you now in the rear view mirror, and looking at things on a grander scale, the big picture. It's always something that helped me get through a lot of things. I know it's not an easy thing, and it's certainly not, doesn't, I don't mean to invalidate the feelings that you're meant to feel in the moment. It's just, that's how I would cope. That's how I would get over stuff. And for him to talk about how the universe is very old and we're all just, blips on its history,
Mm-hmm.
and very young, really does shrink things down to, you're not that big a deal. This ain't a big deal. You need to have a bit of an ego death, as shroom users call it. Um, yeah, it's just, that's a thing that you learn if you take shrooms.
Oh, shrooms.
Have
I was
Yeah,
like, what are shrooms? What, I
shrooms,
didn't catch shrooms.
shrimps,
Yeah, I don't eat shrimp, so no.
shrimps. They're delicious. Oh, little garlic butter. Oh, so good. Um, but just to say, disgusted face.
I don't
Um,
like them.
that's fair. I get it. Just the grand size of things, and how using that perspective to try. I mean, no one can really put it in perspective that perfectly, but it does help to know and to think about everything as, it's just small stuff. Don't sweat the small stuff. If you make
Mm-hmm.
all the stuff small, what are you sweating? That's all I had to say about
Yeah.
that last monologue.
I you saying that. So I did a big fuck up at work. I did a big fuck up
Mhm.
couple weeks ago. Big old whoopsie doo. That was like a whoopsie doo that was like multiple whoopsie doos in a row.
Oh no.
That yeah, it was like
You had a
fuck.
whoopsie doo chain?
Yeah, it was a chain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chain reaction of whoopsie doos. And I was like, I'm going to be fired. I went home that day. I think I talked to you guys about it. I was like, oh my God. The
Mm-hmm.
worst day ever. Like, oh, you guys wouldn't believe like the big old whoopsie doo I did. However,
For lack of a better term, yeah.
yeah. Since then, that whoopsie doo has been ironed out.
Yeah.
I have not been fired yet. At least for that. And like looking back on that big old whoopsie doo, I'm like, yeah, in that moment, I felt sick to my stomach,
Yeah,
like probably that entire weekend after I figured out what I had done. And I was
of course.
like,
Total
and
panic and
honestly, honest mistake, total panic. Now I look back on it and I'm like, ah, it was an overreaction. And that's a really good way to look about things. Like,
just you fast forward, and
yeah.
my wife calls it radical exception. I'm sure she got that from a past therapist or doctor of some kind where that's how they phrased it. But it's something she said to me before, and I'm like, that's exactly the right words. Radical exception.
Mhm.
Like you'll handle things better the more calm you are.
Mhm.
So if you're needing to be calm, pretend you can try time travel. Pretend you can, think about the last thing that reminded you of how you're feeling right now, and think about how you look on that thing now, being
Yeah,
so many
exactly.
months later. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because let me tell you, that wasn't the first whoopsie do I've done in my career, and it won't be the last. I can, I will promise you that. I'll probably make a big old whoopsie do tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm guaranteed to do so, I'm sure. With yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, that's a wonderful way to look at it. The he makes Charles makes a
Charles.
beautiful speech here. And one of the things that I was kind of just thinking about in the back of my mind was like, I will make this beautiful point in front of my students, and I will say I mean, it is something that they need to hear. It is something they need to learn. And I'm like, damn, I really did a good metaphor where I connected it to like TikTok or something that they give a shit about. And I was like, I will be like, oh, isn't that right, guys? And then I'll either have someone who raises their hand and I'm like, I'm about to get a standing ovation. And they say, either they say, can I go to the bathroom? Or, which tells me in one ear, out the other, they're thinking about their bladder. Or they say, what did you say? And it is, that's teaching today.
Soul
That's,
crushing.
yeah. Yeah. I was up here doing my TED talk. Like, we are talking about staying in your own lane. You are the captain of your own ship. Like, you can't do any. And it's like, uh, there's a pencil on the floor. Cool,
But just think
wonderful.
of it this way: all those kids who didn't raise their hand and didn't say boo diddly about it, those people were probably retaining some of that, and they're just,
Mm,
the squeaky wheel doesn't represent the whole, is all I'm saying. The majority, not the whole.
that's
Poor phrasing.
well, yeah, okay. I guess that's true, but also then immediately we try to be the captain of someone else's ship. And it's like, you didn't hear me at all. Okay, cool.
So you lost one kid to having to go take a piss. That's fine.
No, I'm, and then the rest of the class is like, I need to worry about everybody else except for myself. I'm gonna be the problem. Everybody else needs to not be the problem. It's great.
Goddamn.
Their middle school is wild. They are wild, feral. They're feral.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine, because we don't even have middle school here. So
Yeah.
now, thinking back on those
Well,
grades, what is it? The 6 through 8?
six or
Hell
eight.
on
Yeah.
earth. Hell on earth. Weirdest,
Well, yeah.
weirdest years of my
You
life.
need to contain them. You need to contain them because sixth graders are still elementary schoolers.
Yeah.
Seventh graders, that's when the hormones kick in, and they are unhuman.
Oh yeah.
They're not
Rampant.
of this
Yeah.
earth anymore. They're
That's their superpowers.
it's crazy. And then by eighth grade, they're like kind of they're funnier, and you can joke with them a little bit more, but they're also kind of icky. And it's like, all right, you need to go to high school because you were saying high school things, and I don't
Get out of
want to
here.
hear those things. Yeah, yeah,
Start kicking him out the door.
yeah. Goodbye.
You know what? Let's give you a pass. Let's pass you this year.
Yeah. basically basically it. But anyway, okay. Yeah. Oh,
I have finished all my notes. Can you believe it? I have been talking for like 90% of this episode, I feel like, and
and you have
my
made
notes are
some
gone.
fantastic points. Absolutely
Thank
fantastic
you.
points. Let me make some fantastic points just real quick
Yes.
in rapid succession. They mentioned Rudyard Kipling in this. He's the guy who wrote the Jungle Book, and
Oh
he has a
yeah.
poem that's very famous called "If." I
Mm.
think I did it with my 8th graders a few years ago. When Charles is told you have to forget the Earth, I would have been like, okay. I did you hear them? We are the trailer park of the universe. Like, all right. Forget those
So
fuckers.
you'd be like, no convincing needed. You got it, dude.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm halfway there now.
Yeah. Why do you think I drink? No. You are dramatic is something that Charles says
Thank you.
to the sisters. Oh,
yes. It's very funny. I
also
like that
you
moment.
are dramatic.
I try to be.
Yeah, the sisters, and they are being very dramatic. And just as a side note, Deathbird, that's a very dramatic name and also very stupid.
I agree. Yeah, I don't know if I mean, there's apparently 3 seasons fully greenlit about this show. It would be interesting to see that character live up to the name and make her character's name a little less silly sounding, because she does kill a lot. When unleashed, there's a character that is very briefly shown in this episode. Actually, there's a lot of cameos in this episode, but there's a character named Vulcan, not to be confused with Spock, which is the race of Vulcans from Star Trek. But there's a character just named Vulcan that has a love affair with Deathbird, and they go on a huge killing spree. It's pretty awesome from the comics. But yeah, Deathbird is, I agree,
Like,
not a cool name.
No, not cool. And somebody calls her Pigeon in this, and that made me giggle a little bit. Okay, all right. So if this hand is Thanos, and this hand is Deathbird, who's killing more people? Thanos?
Oh, but absolutely Thanos. I just mean that, like, hand-to-hand combat, she is very violent. Very,
gotcha.
very
And she doesn't have the Batman code where, like, you try not to. You're
exactly.
No pew pews. She's like,
she's like you. Deadpool. She's like,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Kebab that motherfucker. Yeah.
Fucking kebab. Agreed.
Okay. Charles. I can't.
They no longer matter. Charles.
Sorry. Okay. He has that vision at the end.
Yeah.
We didn't touch on that hardly at all, and I think we need to probably a little bit, but
we
maybe
didn't.
not a whole
You're right.
lot.
Well, I was surprised that Magneto was not in it. It was Giant Gambit that turned into like a wild sentinel, but no Magneto. But that was like, that told him something was wrong, and that's, I mean, I don't know how telepathy works. He's getting like instinct visions, or maybe he's getting something from somebody who visited the future and saw this. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, maybe she's trying to reach him.
Or Madeline.
Yeah, there's so many psychics. There's so many telepaths in this series right now. There's 4 and 5 if you include Lilandra, which I feel like I've said her name differently every fucking time I've said it tonight. But yeah, she's also a telepath.
If she was a real person, I would do the work and actually figure out how to say her name correctly.
There you go. Lilandra, you want to say your name right? Get real.
That sound rude. Be real.
Be real, lady.
But like Kamala Khan.
True.
She's live action, but I did actually do the work to try to.
That's true.
I know.
So you're saying she needs to be live action? Okay.
Shit.
Let's make I think what we're all hearing is that Emmy really wants Lilandra or Lilandra or Lilandra or Lilandra or Lilandra. I think I just said it 2 ways.
The laundry.
The laundry to be real. And,
I think what I'm saying is that I'm animatist.
You're animatist. You're right. That is what you're saying. Never mind. Forget what I said. Yeah.
Sorry.
They got to come up with a whole new series to attack the metaphor around your bigotry.
Around my bigotry. Fuck. Yeah, well, at least I'm not animated. I'm 3D. Okay. my very last note, that sinister bastard. Back at it again.
He's a
With the
bastard.
creepiness.
He laughed. It's said in the subtitles when I watched it the second time. He ends the episode with maniacal laugh,
Oh,
which I
well,
thought was very funny.
that's very animated.
Yeah. And he says Genosha was merely the beginning of a prologue now past. You have nothing to fear so long as you place your faith in Sinister. Something like that.
Yeah, that was a very sinister, maniacal laugh.
Thank you. I have no
He,
idea if the microphone picked it up.
I heard it, so I assume it did.
Probably. That makes sense. Good logic.
Who knows? But yeah, he talks a little like Shakespeare, I feel like.
The whole damn show it's so Shakespearean, and it can be overwhelming and campy to some, I'm sure, but I love it. And if you I've been intermittently watching old episodes of the series as we watch this and like find ones that have similar characters in it. And I'm sorry to say, those true believers, those huge lovers of the original series, this show is better. The show is written much better. The writing on it is dynamite. And if you watch the original show, it's funny, it's campy, it's silly, but it's also just not as well written. It was great for the time. Great for a kids show in the 90s. Holy shit about the X-Men. But we've come a long way, and this show reflects that. Thank God.
It's because back in the 90s, it was truly a kids show. And this is not supposed to be a kids show because they talk about freak fluids and the at the very end, doesn't Charles, that was a robot, I'm sorry, doesn't he say something about them, they were drinking
dancing
and
drinking and
making love. Yeah,
he doesn't say making whoopee, he says love. Guy might as well said fucking.
He shoulda
TVMA, dang it.
Yeah, but and we talked about the pus, like
that is adult pus.
That's adult.
Getting adult reactions out of adults. Yeah. Better not bring your kids. Yeah.
The adversary, even. I mean, hitting on, I feel like, very adult themes of like,
oh hell yeah,
self-deprecation and self-hatred and depression, and I don't know.
Yeah.
No kid's gonna get that.
I can see young parents showing their kid this show being like, oh, this is gonna be just like when I watched it when I was a kid, and they're showing their kid, and the kid's like 5, and then Gambit dies, and the kid's inconsolable. And the parents like, crap, I should have waited.
Well,
we could have been watching Finding Nemo.
I hope. Well, that, there's a lot of Disney movies where people die. Not people, fish.
Bing bong.
Bing bong. Bing bong. Huh. Yeah. All right.
Do you have any other notes about the episode?
No more notes. I was going to ask if you had any final thoughts, anything to wrap everything up into a nice, neat little bow before I get started into some plugs, and then I know you've got some other things to take care of.
I am purely stoked about the way that we got a great arc for Storm. We got a great costume change. She's no longer in the 90s white outfit. She is in this original outfit from the 70s, which is so cool. I'm so glad it's back. It's been back in the comics many, many times. So I'm stoked about that. I'm stoked about Professor X coming home and visiting his X-Men. Very excited.
And I'm excited too. And I truly think, beginning of the episode, I was like, I've got some nitpicks, but like, I'm excited to talk them out. And Heath, you had all the answers today. Those nitpicks are still slightly there for me, but they are.
I hear you.
You explained them. You explained them in a way where I was like, okay, I see where they were trying to go. I'm good with it. Very good with it. And I'm excited to see the last. Is it 4? We have 4 more episodes.
4 more episodes. Yep, we're on the final stretch.
Oh, my goodness.
Shit's gonna get real.
My birthday was 6 weeks ago.
That's a fact you just said. You're right.
Because it was the first episode, and
Oh,
I guess it was only 5 weeks ago. Yeah,
oh.
math.
I just thought you were
Anyway,
saying something out of total left field.
oh well, I understand why that does track. I get it,
My bad.
but yeah. So we'll go ahead and close us out of here. And then we've got some credits names and we will call it a night. So I have actually finally written down the things that I want to plug and the things that I want to do. And I think that has helped me.
Nice.
So to close out the show, I'm going to say, welcome to the ABINGERS podcast.
Perfect.
Wait a minute. All right. So if you like this show, if you liked us, we are just 2/3 of the podcast. We have Brandon, he joins us every once in a while, and well, no, he joins us often. He's
does.
just been he's a new dad, so
He's on new baby hiatus. So
yes,
yeah,
so
we give him a break.
That is that's a day-to-day decision.
A lot going on.
Understand.
Mhm.
And then we've also got Clinton, who joins us every once in a while. You can find us anywhere at ABINGERS Podcast, ABINGERS. That's Instagram, Threads, Twitter, Facebook. We have a cool Facebook group that's ABINGERS Assemble. You can find us on any of those social media platforms. We've got a great free way to support the show. You can give us a 5-star rating on your podcast platform of choice. That goes a long way to get us eyes and ears on the show. We greatly appreciate it. If you feel like you want to write a little bit, like, we love reading those. That's also great. We also have a Patreon, patreon.com/ABINGERS podcast. $1 a month, you can get our wonderful backlog of movies that we've done. We also have a wonderful Discord that you can join. We've got a wonderful community on there. Everybody's awesome. We've got all sorts of channels where you can talk about all sorts of stuff, like
Hell yeah.
ranging from Lord of the Rings to Harry Potter to Fairy Smut to Star
Thirst
Wars.
posts, drag race,
Thirst post, drag race, Big Brother whenever it's Big Brother season,
gifts only.
Yeah.
Off the rails.
all sorts of great channels.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like I said, wonderful people. I said I wrote down all the things that I wanted to plug and I forgot. We've got our YouTube. If you are just listening to this on audio, you are missing out the pleasure of mine and Keith's beautiful faces. And I have told you guys before that my face does not know how to use its indoor voice. And so sometimes Keith or Brandon Button will say something and my face says exactly what I think. And I cannot stop it.
You gotta tune in for that.
Yeah.
That alone.
So if you go to youtube.com/ABINGERS podcast, like, subscribe, sign up for alerts.
Yeah, hit the dingy bell.
Well. Hit the dingy bell. Smash that subscribe button.
Smash.
We got the tiki-takis too, don't we?
I haven't been able to log in on that in a while.
Oh, okay. We've got a tiki-takis.
Check out our Instagram. It should be the same thing.
It's okay. It's gonna get banned. It's gonna get banned anyway. Whatever.
That's not even why we're lagging on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can subscribe there. But definitely go to Instagram. I'm making these plugs so much longer than Brandon does because I'm trying to make sure that I hit all of them. We do have a website. It is abingerspodcast.com. We've got merch there if you like us that much. And I think that has hit absolutely everything.
Nice. Well done. You want to hear some credits names?
Of course, Keith. I am so excited that you are doing that this week. I can't tell you how excited I worked
really, really hard on them. I hope you like them.
One
One of the composite artists actually got in trouble for last week's episode. He submitted a few frames of the show without adding any color to them. So Marvel Studios reprimanded him, and he received a pretty Christopher Gray bill.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you for that.
All right. I
Okay.
see. Oh, okay. All right.
I got two more.
I need to start doing that too. Okay.
Yeah, right? On the YouTube especially, it's nice, like the visual, 100%. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the production was asking around for voice actors who could do some additional voices. And what they found was Matthew Wood.
I've used him before, but it's always good. It always
I wondered
gets
if
me.
you were use one of these. Okay. You definitely didn't use this one. I hope you didn't use this one anyways. This last one. Okay, I promise. This last one. One of the heads of visual development and character design had a little car trouble last week, but don't worry, they only suffered a Ryan minor ding.
I have used him, but it was a long time ago. It was a long time ago. It would take me forever to find that episode.
2 out of 3. All right. Well, I'm taking credit for Christopher Gray bill, but
Yeah.
that was obviously the most convoluted one, I think. But
I liked it.
All right. Well, I do a list of all the ones. I'm gonna go back and listen to the end of every episode again and hear all the credits.
But no, honestly, every single time I see it, because they're on a lot of shows and movies. Minor Ding, Matthew Wood is one who's also on a lot. I feel like I see him a lot, and I might have honestly used him twice already. And Louis Despacito is another one that and I've already used it, but like
I won't use that one. Okay, I'm writing that one down.
The song.
Yes, of course.
Despacito. But listen, hey, great minds think alike.
Great minds. We're very alike. We've discussed this already tonight. We are the same person.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
I love it. Maybe I'm your demon owl creature, and we have the same voice.
What? You're my do you want
adversary.
to be that?
I don't know. I just figured that was like the only thing. Maybe I'm your Madeline Pryor and you're my Jean Grey, or vice versa.
Maybe that's it. I think.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
And
I'll have the super secret sexy time with Scott that no one knows about. It's been going on for a month.
Okay.
Whole month.
I'll have
psychic
super
dates.
Secret sexy time with
Robert
Downey Jr. If I'm a telepath, I can do that.
You can. When practicing telepathy, please remember everyone to ask for consent. Still matters. Still counts.
I will. That's a message from the health department. Mm-hmm. And I think we are done with that episode here. Consent. Consent.
That's it. Was that too heavy?
No.
Okay, cool.
What, mind fucking someone and asking for consent? No, I think that's really important.
Mind fucking someone. All right. Yes. Okay. Well put.
Yeah. I think that's very important.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.